visiting Native Hawaiians. And looking ahead to the next exercise, I'm going to think about telemedicine, because the purpose of this, we might want to be asking people, do they own a computer? Are they connected to the internet? Do they own a phone? Because those are things we need to know if we're going to do a telemedicine study. Well, last thing to talk about today is, who do you give this survey to? And there are three options. You could give it to everybody in your study. You could give it to a sample of everybody, in which case you essentially have a cohort design. Or you could give it to a sample of your cases. So go back for the last time to this data display. Let's just focus on the island of Oahu and the island, the Big Island of Hawaii. You have a certain number of people in your claims data set who are diabetics living on Oahu. A certain number of diabetics living on the Big Island. From the claims data set, you're going to be able to tell me whether those people had good quality of care or bad quality of care once you decide how you're measuring quality of care. Now the question is, who do you send the survey to? If N1 and N4 are big numbers, you have lots of diabetics, you might not have a big enough budget to send your survey to everybody. But if it's a small number, then send it to everybody in your study. Send it to everybody in all your diabetics. Otherwise, you might take a sample, maybe half of these guys from Oahu and maybe half of these guys from the Big Island, and then just send your survey to half of the people. And now you'll be still doing a cohort study, not involving everybody in the retrospective cohort study, but just half of those people, the half that were sent surveys. Another design, and this is what I mentioned earlier about the case control study. Let's suppose that very few people are getting good quality of care the way you defined it. So A total is small. You're only going to be able to send your survey to, say, 200 people. Get everybody from this total. And then just send it to a sample of the other people. That's a nested case control study. So even in this retrospective cohort exercise that we talked about, when the survey design comes into play, that added piece of information, and if you only can collect it on some of your people, one option is to select it on a sample of everybody, but another option is this case control design, and that's something to think about as an efficient way to collect information on only a subset of your people. So when we come back next week, we'll talk about the comparisons of the designs: experimental, prospective cohort, retrospective cohort, case control, and cross-sectional. This is stuff we've already talked about. So even though there's more we haven't discussed here, this stuff will go very quickly next week. And next week we'll talk about that, along with statistical plans as a preview of the middle part of our series of talks. And then I'll talk about bias and confounding. So that's where I'm heading to. So according to my clock, I have 3 minutes to go. And I appreciate the 28 of you who, according to this computer, are still there. At least your computers are still on. If anyone has a question, they can send it to me via the chat box. Remember, you can send me a question anytime. You have my email address. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you a great rest of the day. I hear the weather is beautiful there in Hawaii, and the folks in Alaska, hope you have a good day too. And I'll see you guys next week, but I'll hang around for another minute or two to see if there are questions. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Okay, so Aaron, anything you want to say before we say goodbye to these folks? Maybe Aaron's not with us anymore. Maybe, but okay. Any announcement? Oh, I know what I can announce.
Right here.
The next homework assignment. We'll send it out today. This was Aaron's original assignment, and here the goal is Aaron wanted to design a study, determine if case management services delivered versus telemedicine technology can improve access to care for Native Hawaiians and Pacific people who reside in rural, medically underserved communities. So it's the same background you saw before. Think about people who are not from the island of Oahu, who are Native Hawaiians and Pacific people. We're giving them access via telemedicine to having a positive improvement on their quality of care. So think about how you would now design a study. Answer that question about telemedicine, improving the quality of care of these people. You can use any of the design features we talked about and send your proposals in to Aaron by the end of this week if you could. talk about a few of those next week. Erin, am I correct in understanding this is a study you actually put a grant proposal, your group put a grant proposal together and it was approved, is that?
Yeah,
So
that was the administrative supplement that we put in.
So let's see how well your design compares to what they did, whether it's better or worse. So now design a study how you would evaluate, going back 2 slides, whether telemedicine would improve the quality of care for these people who are at a location where they are separated distance-wise from access either to their physicians or to their clinics or to their hospitals. Erin, is that a fair description, or is there something you want to add to that? Okay, so think about that.
Yep.
Okay, so think about that
No,
during
that
the week.
sounds
If
great.
you want to share your ideas, send them to Erin by Friday, and I'll try to summarize them. Have a great day. I hear it's sunny up in Alaska, too. 43 degrees. Are we talking Fahrenheit, or are we talking Celsius? It's warmer than 43 degrees Fahrenheit down here. It's a humid, sort of overcast day now. But have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Now just hang on, Erin, as everyone goes away in case you want to chat.